Hello and welcome to episode number 4 of In the Studio with me, Donny Carr. So what I have for you today is a cool little technique I use quite often, and it's known as frequency ducking. It's similar to side chaining, similar to dynamic EQ, but a little bit different. Instead of lowering the whole volume of a sound with side chaining, you're just lowering a certain frequency area or a specific frequency. So I have this little demo I put together to show you this technique, and I want you to listen to that really quick so you see what I'm working with. Here we go. So that's the demo. I have that a nice little dark percussion hit that doesn't play often, but it's clashing with the bass. And this occurs in my productions all the time. I really like those low, mid, low, dark percussion hits and synth hits, and so I use this technique a lot to make space for them. So on the bass, this is the EQ for the bass, and this is what's going on here, is the frequency ducking. So I'll play it one more time. That's what I want to show you. So let's start from scratch. I'm going to delete this EQ on the bass. I'm going to delete the P controller, which is on the dark percussion hit, and we'll start from scratch. So first thing what I would do is pull up an EQ on the frequency that I want to make room for. In this case, it's the percussion. So let's take a look and see where the predominant frequencies of that percussion is. It's around 180, so let's go over to the bass. Let's put on an EQ here, not that EQ though, and this one, and we'll move this node over to 180. And on the percussion hit, we need a peak controller. There we go. Okay, so on the bass, what we're going to do is on this node that we've determined is a good point to duck the frequencies here, because that's where the strongest frequencies of the percussion is. So we'll take this guy here and link it to the peak controller of the percussion hit, which is on channel 21, so we'll go peak. Now on the input, we want an inverted input because we want to duck it, we don't want to boost it. If I leave it like this and hit accept, it's not going to work right. It's gonna boost it, and it's not gonna be at 0. So to remedy this, that's why I have this little formula here. That's what you need to put in. So if you want to write it down, it's a useful little formula to know. So it's 0.5, which means it's going to start at 0 and not be boosted either way. 0.5-1 star input. There we go. Accept. And we're going to reset this. So that's what we want, but we still need to adjust a little bit. We don't want it to go down all the way. That's a little bit extreme. So what we can do there is just go over to the peak controller, which is on our on channel 21. Okay. And to adjust the amount of which it ducks, we just use a volume control here. So let's adjust that. It's way too much, bro. Nice, that sounds good. And if you wanted to, you can adjust the width of the cue here, just by this guy here. it narrow, make it wide. There you go. I think that sounds nice. It definitely has more clarity in the mix. It gives, you know, a little bit of space for that percussion to kind of poke through without ducking all the frequencies of the bass. So I think that's a nice, you know, compromise. I hope you learned something. I hope you can, you know, take this technique and use it in your productions, because I definitely use it often. And yeah, leave a comment below. I'd love that. I'll see you next time. Take care.